Hi all, welcome. I am glad you're interested in learning about prompt engineering for marketing purposes. I assume most of you are marketers. And if you tuned to this video because you heard a lot about prompt engineering, especially if you watched some of the bad YouTube videos where they say, hey, you need to learn about prompt engineering because that is the happening thing and you don't need to know anything and you can actually start making money 300K, 350K. I don't want to give you the bad news, but you have to learn, you have to know about the reality that that's really not the case. If so, all those YouTube speakers, including me, would be jumping onto those positions. I love what I'm doing right now, but if someone's offering me 300K for being a prompt engineer, just talk to me, okay? So just set the reality in, and in fact, you need to be a master of your domain, or at least you need to be very much familiar with what type of questions you need to be asking. For example, if you're a marketer, you cannot be asking relevant questions about SEO analysis, content and blogging and all that kind of stuff if you don't know anything about marketing. So you need to be an expert in your domain. So I assume you have some idea about marketing. If not, you learn something here, but that doesn't mean you can be a prompt engineer just by watching this video, okay? Saying that, if you're wondering why someone like you, for example, an amazing marketer, why should you be learning about prompt engineering because you're an expert at content, SEO, data analysis, and all that, I will give you a couple of reasons, and then I'll jump into actually how to compose good prompts for various marketing tasks. Now, before jumping in, one quick note: if you're not already a subscriber of this channel, this would be a great time to hit the subscribe button. And while you're there, look for the little thanks button if you're feeling extra generous. And this channel is all about Python coding most of the time for data and image analysis. I tend to focus a bit more on image analysis, but if that is something that relates to you, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button for sure. Okay, now back to our topic. Well, what were we talking about? Okay, I said I'll give you some reasons. If you're a great marketer, why should you actually bother about this prompt engineering? Well, we have our thinking framework. Let me put it that way. When I come up with some SEO keywords, or when I write like a blog about my product or something, you have a thinking framework, and you typically work with a team that is diverse. Hopefully that is diverse enough where you have multiple different races and different genders and everyone working together, because everyone brings their own thinking framework. So when you put all of those together, the message that comes out, the product that comes out is much better. Now, AI, this generative AI, think of this as another thinking framework that you're adding to your existing resources. In fact, since this AI is trained on so much data, it actually brings a lot of different perspectives. Sometimes when you hit reload and reload, or regenerate, you get like different perspectives all in one chat, but you do get different perspectives. That gives you ideas in terms of what else can you do, or how else can you compose your messages and so on. Now, that's not all, because generative AI is like having it's not just one assistant. Actually, it's like having many assistants, because I hate the term assistant. It makes this tool as your subordinate or something. So let me call this a partner. It gives you many partners in your work because it can do stuff. It can do the work in a matter of fraction of a second. For example, if you ask it to provide SEO analysis of a competitive website, it can do that in a fraction of a second, and it can put that in a format that you can readily use or present, and so on. And we'll learn a few tricks as part of this video, for sure. Okay, now let's, I know I've been talking for a long time now, so let me go ahead and jump into our next slide, which is just discussing what prompt engineering is. So we are all on the same page. As you can read on the screen, this is a text that I put. Prompt engineering is the art of asking the right question to get the best output from a generative AI. I just composed this sentence, but it's plain English way of telling what prompt engineering is. It's nothing but asking or giving the right prompts, or asking the right question to whether you use ChatGPT or whatever you use, to your large language model, to give you the best output from a generative AI. And I hope you know what generative AI is. It is an AI that generates stuff for you, content for you. The content can be text, the content can be images, like text is ChatGPT, images, it can be DALL-E, like there is music you can generate, but obviously I'm going to talk about only text in this tutorial, and the concept can be extended to anything else. Now, there are many models, like I already mentioned ChatGPT out there, but for this tutorial, again, I'm going to use ChatGPT and Microsoft's Copilot. I actually write Copilot for a lot of marketing related tasks because you can kind of adjust the amount of creativity versus keeping it realistic in terms of responses. So I like the ability to control that. And so I'll show you examples of both ChatGPT and Microsoft's Copilot as part of this video. Now, what makes me an expert at doing this video? I don't know. I mean, why should you care about this? Well, I've been using ChatGPT extensively since day one. I'm pretty sure most of you have been using it, but this video is about sharing my experiences. And I sucked initially at asking questions because I wasted a lot of time in asking a question. And then I'm like, no, that's not what I'm asking. This is what I'm asking. And then it gives me something. Okay, you're on the right track, but can you add this? And then I'm like, oh, can you, by the way, can you just only look for, this region and so on. I mean, it multiple prompts later, you may get the right answer, or you may go down the rabbit hole because you kind of ask multiple questions, and at some point you're kind of getting into this weird area of not getting out. Then you have to start fresh with a new chat. I hope that makes sense to you. So I perfected the art of asking these over the last 1 year. But about 6 months ago, I started taking all these courses, whether it is LinkedIn courses or Udemy, whatever you call it, and also watched almost every video on prompt engineering on YouTube and learned good practices and bad practices altogether. So after all of that, I'm summarizing my findings for you as part of this presentation, and I'll give you all the content that I'm going to show you as part of PDF files, and there is also a Python file. You know me, if you're a subscriber, I have to do some Python, but don't worry. This is for anyone who has no coding skills at all. You can still run that Python, and hopefully you'll get a result without doing anything. Okay, so let's actually start by looking at some of these prompts. So let me go to the next slide. So I put some of these prompts on the screen so you can see exactly what the prompt is that we are going to type, or that I have typed in the past, and you can actually see what the response is. So I call this a not so good prompt, even though it's not a bad prompt. I hope you understand the distinction. Not so good. So the question here is, write captions for a software product that generates web page designs using AI and no coding necessary. So basically, you're working for a company where the primary product is something that generates web page designs using AI, where the user doesn't have to code. And I also asked, explain why you recommend those captions. I just want a caption, a marketing caption, right? So what caption did it actually come up with? It's not a bad answer, actually. It's not a bad response. You see how it says, revolutionize your website creation process with AI-powered design. Create stunning websites in minutes with our AI-powered design tool. They're all okay, but they're too long for my taste. And the next question I would have actually typed in ChatGPT or Copilot in this case would be, hey, can you just give me 3-word or 4-word or 5-word captions and so on. That's exactly what a good caption is. So let's go to the next screen where you can see how I divided this into 5 different aspects. So starting with persona, you want to give ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot what the persona you want it to assume. What I mean by that, you can actually say, hey, you are a content expert at a startup, and I gave the startup a name, Webgenix. It's just doesn't exist. I just created this with a software product that generates web page designs using AI and no coding necessary. So this assigns a persona to the chat engine, so it knows exactly what to pretend to be. This is always useful. try with this and without this persona and look at the results. Okay. And next we need to provide a context. You're tasked to write a product caption no longer than 5 words. So I'm actually giving it a context. And here is where you can add additional context if there is anything. Hey, no longer than 5 words, but also keep in mind that our target audience is, I don't know, small business owners, blah, 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 whatever it is. So this is the context that you're providing. And the action, what do you want it to write? Write 10 product captions for Webgenix. Now it knows what Webgenix is because I already mentioned that up here. And provide a short explanation recommending each caption. So I want it to sell the caption to me. Hey, I think this is a good caption because of blah, 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 whatever it is. And then tone is very, very important for most of the marketing content. Unless you say, hey, what are the top SEO keywords? Unless you ask this zero-shot question. Zero-shot is you don't need to tell it anything. You don't need to train it, or you don't need to give any context to it. You just ask a question. Hey, what is the capital of the United States of America? That's a zero shot. Now give me top 10 SEO keywords for for some web page design or something. So that's a zero shot. But in this case, we are actually giving it some context, so it stays within this bounds. And this is called few shot. I don't want to get into any technical aspects, but this is few shot. Also, one thing that you need to realize is any large language model, ChatGPT, whatever it is, it's generating one token at a time. In a way, think of a token as almost a word, although it can be 1.5 word or 0.75 of a word or whatever. It generates a chunk of your word or words at a time, and then it thinks about what the probability for the next word should be based on the context that you provided. So it's just generating one after the other, but it looks at your question, right? So that's why you need to be very, very careful in terms of how you provide this input so you get your response at one shot, so you're not wasting a lot of your time. And I know I'm talking a lot, but one last thing I want to mention is I also experimented with the API access to ChatGPT and Hugging Face and all these language models. And I started to realize every time I access this API, it's costing me money. Right? I'm asking it. So I'm using their services. It's costing me money. That helped me a lot in optimizing my messages because I want to save my money and I want to come up with the best question the first time, so I get the best answer. So that's another thing that went into my training in terms of how to write these prompts. Okay, so the action part, we talked about it, and tone. Please keep the tone professional in this case, right? So I'm telling it, hey, this is a marketing message, so the tone, please keep it professional. If you are a startup and you just want to be witty, you want to be funny, then this is where you would say, hey, please keep the tone a bit witty or a bit funny, a bit comedic, whatever you want to say. So, or make the tweet or make this sound like whatever your favorite character, sound like Batman, for example. Okay, so that is the tone part. And finally, the output format. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 different elements: persona, context, action, tone, and output format that I always try to give depending on the type of questions I'm asking. So like in this case, I'm saying, hey, please format the output into a table so I can copy and paste it into Excel. So this, I think, is a very good format because with this, it knows exactly what you need. And here is the output that I'm showing you on the right-hand side. This is the Microsoft Copilot result. And you can see how it clearly put everything into a table. In fact, it even has this Excel thing. But when I clicked on it, it says, I don't have Excel on my system. So obviously, it gave me some message saying it can do it. But look at these. These are all within 5 words, like I asked it to do, right? Where is it? Within 5 words. And then it gives some explanation. I like this actually. Design with ease. Right? Webgenix, design with ease. But it doesn't say that this is designing web page. So I like this to be a bit more specific than web design made simple. That works for me. Web design made smarter. right? So these are all good ones. Now let's actually go and look at how the ChatGPT, if you're a ChatGPT person, here is how the results look like. On the left hand side, you have revolutionize your web design, AI powered pages without a single line of code. That's a very long caption, which is good for a web page, but if you want to put it right under the product logo, then something like this: code-free design mastery, or instant websites, no code, right to the point. So this is what ChatGPT gave me. In both cases, you can see how if it's not so good prompt, I used exactly the same prompt in both cases. You see how I got decent answer, decent result, but here it's much more what I'm looking for. Okay, now with that information, let's go to actually looking at some of our marketing stuff. So one thing that if you actually are running a marketing team, or if you're a one-man marketing army, I'm pretty sure you're asked to put together a marketing plan for the next 6 months, next 3 months, next 1 year, whatever it is. And if you start from scratch, or if you have something from last year, great. But if you want to get new ideas, here is a good way of asking or composing these prompts. One is, let's again, persona, content, action, tone, and output. Whenever I have some text that I wanted to generate, I try to give all of these. In some cases, you may not have to give some. We'll get to that in a minute, but typically all of these. So you're the head of marketing. So this is the persona at a startup, again, the same company. You're tasked to write a marketing plan for the next fiscal year with a primary goal of increasing brand awareness, right? Whenever you write marketing plan, you always have some sort of a goal, whether to increase revenue by 5% or whether to increase brand awareness, whatever it is. In this case, I'm keeping it a bit more generic, like saying brand awareness, and your target audience is small business owners. You always have target audience. You don't do marketing by not having target audience or target revenue or target market, the vertical. So that's what I'm providing. Again, more context. Write a marketing plan in about 1,000 words because I wanted to know when to stop and what to aim for. And please use professional tone, but with simpler, easy to understand English. The other way to write this is please use, in some cases, I say natural English or conversational tone, for example, if you want it to be that. But this is what I'm going with. And please format the output by including appropriate headings and subheadings. So this makes it easy, and refer to the accompanying PDF. I'm going to share that PDF for the result, but let me just open it right now since we are looking at this, staring at this, and we'll also copy and paste this in, ChatGPT, and see what answer we actually get. So, okay, here is the PDF, and let me zoom in a bit so you can see what I typed. I mean, this is exactly what you see on the screen. You're head of marketing at a startup, and all the stuff that you actually saw in the earlier screen. And you can clearly see what the response is. So this is what it gave us. So Webgenix marketing plan, increasing brand awareness for small business owners, and executive summary and company overview, objective. But you see target audience. Who are we targeting? Business with fewer than 50 employees. I didn't tell it to do that. I just said small business. So it added this. If you want, you can change this. And diverse industries, because I did not tell it that, hey, only focus on restaurant business or something. It just said it's diverse industries, retail, services, hospitality. This is a first good iteration, and you can go back and add any specific details. You should have actually added that, but since I haven't, it's actually given me all of these diverse industries and what it needs to be: cost-effective web design, easy to use platform, customizable templates, and marketing strategy. Okay, online presence enhancement, web optimization, SEO optimization, and then social media, content calendar, paid advertising, and so on. And then the next question for you that you can ask is, hey, content calendar, can you actually help me develop a content calendar? And here is the theme for the first month, the theme for the second month, or if you're going in sprints of, I don't know if you guys work agile way when it comes to marketing, but I definitely recommend working in sprints so you can do these marketing experiments in like 2-week bound or 3-week bound. So anything that you can ask more questions and come up and fill some meat to this marketing plan. Okay, now let's get back to the presentation and continue. So we just looked at the response from this marketing plan. Now let's go to our task number 2, which is defining a campaign for a new product. Let's say you have a new, or I should have said new feature. Of course, you don't have brand new products all the time. Then you have to ask it defining a new product introduction campaign, but this is basically defining a campaign for a new feature. And again, I gave all the elements here. You are part of marketing team, you know that, and you are tasked to define a campaign for an upcoming release of a product with key functionality of what is the key functionality? A web page design in 3 clicks. Let's say that's the key functionality. So you have something on your web page on your product where it walks the users through these 3 steps. Hey, click once, twice, and thrice, and then you get your web page, right? So that is basically the functionality. Again, this is a hypothetical product, so I just had to come up with something unique. And defining a campaign in detail, define a campaign in detail that includes both paid and organic social media activities. I didn't say again what platform or anything. I just said, okay, this, and please use professional tone, but again, same thing, simpler English. And now give this to me as a table, so it's easy for me to copy and paste in Excel. Okay, let's look at the results. And in fact, let's do this experiment live by actually, let's do that. Instead of looking at the results, let's just copy this and paste it into ChatGPT, because every time you paste it, it's going to be different results. So let's see what I got. First of all, when I did my chat, and let's see what we get now. So let's jump into the PDF first. And let me zoom in so you can see. So you're part of marketing team, this is the same question, copied and pasted. And here it basically gives, is the detailed campaign plan. So objective is drive awareness and adoption. And the timeline is 6 weeks prior to the product release date. I didn't even say that, hey, this is my timeline. It actually suggested that timeline. Target audience is small business owners. I did mention that. And channels are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I did not mention a specific channel. I can go back and basically tell the algorithm that I don't want, if you're not a big fan of, Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, then you can say, hey, don't do Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Just focus on LinkedIn and YouTube or whatever. It's up to your personal preference. Now, paid social media activities, it says Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and what to do and what is the budget allocation. Of course, this is approximate budget. You should go find out exactly how much it costs. I would say 5,000 for 3 weeks is not bad for paid campaigns. And organic social media activities, obviously $0, but this is more about awareness in this case. And these are the activities and key performance indicators. This is pretty amazing, the type of information it provided. Now let's see, I copied and let's actually paste it. And you probably know, I'm not even mentioning how to get to ChatGPT. Just look at openai.com and sign up for free. And I'm using the free account. I'm not showing you the one where you need to upgrade to access the advanced tools. If you access the advanced tools, then you can access additional plugins that will let you talk to the real world, or format your data into even better formats. This course is not about that. This tutorial is about asking the right questions, like how to frame your questions. So let's not worry about anything. And I'm only using the free version. Okay, I copied and pasted what from my PowerPoint, and believe me, it's exactly the same that you saw in the PowerPoint right there. It added a whole bunch of spaces. So let's delete that for easy visibility. And again, same question. Let's see what it says. Okay, certainly below, campaign plan, objective, target audience, and channels. It did not fill it right here. I don't know why it didn't fill it. Paid social media activities, sponsored post, Facebook, Instagram. It provided this in a slightly different format. Again, every time it is random. Now you want to test it again. So go ahead and click this one more time. And if you really wanted to provide like all the cost estimate, now it actually gave you budget allocation, but you should actually mention that as part of your question here, if you wanted to actually suggest the budget allocation part. But right now it randomly gives you sometimes, it doesn't give you sometimes because you never mentioned about it. Okay, so there you go. So 1 to 2 week teaser campaign, And then early access signups. I love this, better than the one I saved actually. Feature highlights, countdown to release. Oh, I love this. And the budget is, it makes absolute sense. 2 weeks, $5,000, 3 to 4. Obviously, as you get close to the release, the budget is increasing. And other social media. So you see how it structured everything into a very nice format that I can go ahead and start using it, basically. Okay, now let's jump back to our presentation and look at a few more examples. I'll jump into Copilot or ChatGPT one more time, but I'll show you pre-configured results. Believe me, those are all random results I got the first time I pasted it. As you can see, in this case, we had to hit reload one time, but it's all random. All the results that you get here are stochastic, which means they're random. Okay, so you cannot get exactly the same result again. This is why it can be a bit challenging for you to version it, like keep track of how the results look like. But I definitely recommend versioning your questions. Hey, I asked this question, this is the result. I asked this question, this is the result. So you can learn from it in future, or you can trace it back, or others in your team can actually do exactly the type of work you're doing. Okay, now let's jump back. I started to realize with all these explanations, this may be a longer video, but I hope as long as you're learning something, you probably don't mind slightly longer videos. Okay, we saw a couple of good prompts. Let's look at a bad prompt or not so good. In fact, I think this is a bad prompt. So in this case, we want to compose social media posts for your new product. So I'm asking, please write 10 tweets about designing a web page in just 3 clicks. Make half of them funny, because I just want to see, how the witty ones or the funny ones look like. So let's again jump back to the results that I got and then come back to the presentation. Okay, so here it is. Again, please write 10 tweets about designing a web page in 3 clicks, make half of them funny. So it says designing a web page in just 3 clicks. I once spent 3 hours picking a font, but hey, welcome to the future of web design. So I guess it gave half of them funny there. Designed a web page in 3 clicks and threw a party to celebrate. Clicking has never been this much fun, right? These are all pretty cool tweets that you probably can further modify or copy and paste just as is. Sometimes I tend to further personalize them. Okay, so this is the result, but why am I saying this is a bad one? Because this is bad because this directly doesn't talk about your product. In some cases, you can infer that, which is okay in some cases, but let's see how a supposedly good prompt actually performs. Okay, so let's look at a good prompt. Again, it must have all these elements like persona, not must have, but it's good idea to have all these elements if it makes sense. So you're an expert content writer at a startup. We already mentioned what the persona is. You're tasked to write tweets for an upcoming release. Oh, by the way, if you tend to type multiple chats, and if you want new questions, completely, you can just start by saying, hey, forget all the above, and then start asking a new question. Otherwise, it tries to include some information from your previous questions into the new response. So always say forget all the above, and then go ahead and ask a new thing. Okay, so what is the context? You're tasked to write tweets for an upcoming release. Compose 10 tweets, each about 240 characters. I know Twitter, I think you can do 280 characters, but I want to leave some room for additional hashtags that I want to put. So just do 240 characters, and please, I said please do not include any hashtags. Let's see if it follows. Sometimes it probably doesn't understand. Let's see if it follows that. Please use professional tone, but with simpler, easy to understand English, and 5 tweets and comedic tone, and please format it as a table so I can go ahead and copy and paste it. So let's look at the result. And let me zoom in again. So exactly the same thing. So, okay. Now it put professional tone tweets, and then the comedic tweets. So let's look at attention Bay Area rockstar entrepreneurs. Webgenix latest update is so easy, even your morning coffee is jealous. 3 clicks and bam, your website is ready to dazzle. I like it. I can never come up with that tweet. I'm not so creative when it comes to these type of witty tweets. I tend to be more on the boring side. So probably something like this, I may have, after some coffee, I would have come up with that. If I zoom in, probably some of you guys can read it. What does it say? Unleash the power of design without the code hassle. Webgenix now lets small business owners in the Bay Area create stunning web pages in just 3 clicks. The first sentence, I'm not sure if I can come up with myself. Elevate your online presence effortlessly. That's a good one. Okay, so there you go. Now let's jump back to the presentation. And the next task is, let's actually see if we need all of these, like persona, context, action, tone, and output format. It's not always necessary, it depends on the context. Definitely, what task are you trying to do at your hand? And one of the examples is, let's perform SEO analysis. And here are the prompts, and I want to introduce one other concept here. Let's get to that in a second. So here I'm saying you are an SEO expert at a startup. Of course, we have the persona, right? We have the persona, and I want to give it an action. I want you to find me top 2 sites that rank for each of the respective keywords. Now, you probably want to do this exercise with different types of keywords. So I am defining this term as a variable. Non-coders don't get uneasy with this term. All you need to do is put any term inside these curly brackets, and we are going to define what the keywords are later. So it's a placeholder for what I'm going to define later on. So these are variables, and this is an action, right? And we have output format, which is present your response as a list with with each entry, including the name of the site, the URL, and advice on how I could use SEO tactics to outrank it, because I wanted to find keywords. First of all, I'm defining the keywords, and because we put a placeholder there, you need to define what goes into that placeholder. I wanted to go through multiple of these. In this case, I put only 2. Web page design generator is one long form keyword in a way. It's not just a short form keyword, obviously, and AI web page design. So these are the 2 keywords that I want it to look for online, and what sites are ranking the best. Now, which means it has to actually look actively at the internet and find those sites. So ChatGPT was frozen in 2021. I believe the last trained model is not the good tool for you. What's a good one is the Microsoft Copilot. Okay, we're going to use that. And in this example, I haven't used context or tone. Tone doesn't matter because it's fetching this information and giving me, hey, these are the 2 sites for each of these keywords, right? So I don't care about tone. And the context is in a way implied here with our action. I want you to find me 2 sites that rank. So there is no context here. So there are times where certain things do not matter. You can actually say include the tone, but it doesn't make any difference because this is for me because I'm doing some research online. Okay, a lot of text over there. I was speaking, but let's do this live in addition to looking at the pre-configured result. And here is the result that it gave me earlier. We'll check this again one more time. So it says, okay, I can help you with the request. And it said web page design generator, Canva, and Nice Page are the 2 ones that are actually ranking high. And for this keyword, AI web page design, Wix and Hostinger, I don't know what that is, but these both are actually ranking high. Now for my product, I want to outrank these guys. Probably, I don't know if I can, but my hypothetical product, I want to outrank. So basically, you can use the following SEO tactics. Hey, identify relevant keywords, and most of this will nothing new if you're coming from marketing background. I mean, this is something you know, but it gives you an opportunity to think about all of these various bulleted items, numbered items in this case. Yeah. Okay, so let's do exactly the same. Let me switch to Copilot. You need to sign up with a Microsoft account, and I have my Hotmail account from I think 1995 or something. When Hotmail first released, I was one of the first few people to sign up and I still hang on to that Hotmail. So I signed up for that Microsoft account. And one thing I like with the Copilot is now you can actually go into more creative mode, which is if you are coming up with new ideas for tweets, you can probably go into creative, or you can be more precise. For this exercise, I want it to be more precise because this is a real SEO job that we're trying to do. So let me go ahead and paste. I'm not going to delete these. I don't know, for some reason when I copy and paste from Word, from my PowerPoint, it's adding all of this extra space, but let's do this. Okay, so it's exactly the same question. So let's go ahead and see what it provides as an answer. This will be a bit slow. It's actually searching for web page design generator, searching for AI web page design, and it's that's not as slow. Okay, so it says here are the top 2 sites. It says Canva and SEO Advice are the 2. Webflow. It's another. Oh, it formatted this and oh, okay. I have to. It took a while for me to figure out what it's doing. Okay, so web page design generator is the keyword, one of the first keyword that we provided, and then AI web page design is the second one. For that, it found Canva and Webflow as the top 2. Previously, it gave me different response, right? So when I looked here, it says Canva and Nice page, and for this, it gave these 2. Again, you can keep doing this and collect all the top ones. Sorry, let's go back to Copilot. And for the AI web page design, codedesign.ai is the one that it's recommending, and durable is the second one that it actually is recommending, and all the text that goes along with it. You can spend hours doing your SEO research here, and this is spend hours, not that these copilots and ChatGPTs take hours. It's just that there's so much information you're getting. You keep pulling this information and compile all of these, and in fact you can copy and paste all of this text and ask it more questions to, hey, these are all the web pages that are my competition. Go ahead and analyze them and give me top 10 SEO keywords that I should optimize my blog with. So that is something that you can do. It's fun exercise, guys, I should say. Okay, let's get back to the presentation. And let's speed up a little bit. The next one is SEO keyword analysis. And the question here, again, I am only doing action and output and no persona, no context, no tone. I'm not saying, hey, you are an SEO expert, nothing, because it's just giving instructions. You can actually and see how the different the results look like. But here I'm saying analyze my web page. And again, the web page is a variable here, and I gave a web page. By the way, this has nothing to do with anything. I just quickly Google searched for a couple of keywords, and I found this probably a startup company. I have no clue what that is. And I just say, hey, analyze this web page and give me 20 keyword suggestions that would help me rank better than for a specific audience. Like my audience is small business owners in San Francisco Bay Area. Okay, make sure you analyze my web page before you respond to get a good idea of my content. So it's basically saying, hey, go look at this web page and give me 20 keyword suggestions that I would rank better than this one, and present your response as a list of suggested keywords. Again, I think I should show you, I'll share all the results with you. Look for the link down below. It should be a GitHub link, but all the PDFs and everything will be there. But I want to go through the result with you right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let me zoom in again, and here it is. So it says website builder is a keyword, free website builder. And it also gives me a monthly search volume of 22,000 there. It gives you an idea of which ones to strategically rank and so on. As you go down, like if you look at long form, like free website builder for small business owners in San Francisco, that is obviously going to be very low search volume, but still 10 is not bad per month. Right? If so, that is too specific. That means you have the right target audience looking for your product. So long form keywords are not bad. Again, you're marketing people, so why am I telling you that? Let's go back to our presentation. Okay, so the next task we are going to do is composing a blog with SEO keywords. So with the previous exercise, let's say we identified some keywords. Now let's use those keywords and write a blog. And here is again the instructions, good format. You're an expert SEO content writer. Take the keywords. I'm going to give the keywords down here. So some of these are the keywords that we uncovered in our previous exercise. And take these keywords and compose a blog of length 500 words about your product which is Webgenix, right? Because we assigned the persona here, so it knows that that's the product it's actually representing. And make sure the blog is conversational. I absolutely hate professional blog. I see a lot of people, even on LinkedIn, copying and pasting right out of ChatGPT. I have nothing against it. You can do that, but put in some work into getting perfecting that blog and make it as human as possible. So blog with conversational and human with a bit of wit. I like some funny stuff, when I read blogs. I like any content that puts a smile on people's faces. So this is my personal style. And deliver your response in a format that can be copied and pasted into a LinkedIn article. You can also say, hey, put the H1 tags, H2 tags, and so on. But if you're copying it into a HTML, and here are the keywords that I provided down here. Again, quickly look at the result and move on to the next task, which is pretty cool, actually. Okay, so here is the blog, the same comment up there. Building dreams one click at a time. The 3-click miracle. No code, no problem. Your website, your style, and it's pretty cool. I read through this, and it's a good read. Like, why choose Webgenix over other free website builders? Well, besides the fact that we are as cool as the Golden Gate Bridge, our AI-driven platform ensures your website is not just visually stunning, but also optimized for mobile users. So, yeah, this is pretty good text. You should agree. Okay, with the next one, let's actually do some analysis, which is, again, I just created some synthetic data set, but you probably have a data set where you have number of users who signed up for your product and from what countries, and now you want to analyze this. And there are two ways that I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you by copying and pasting the direct data, which I absolutely recommend not to do, because don't put your data in any of these public domains. Try to do it locally. And for that, if you have Python code, even for the previous commands that I showed, anything that I showed you until this point, you're not revealing anything secret. But if there is anything sensitive, look for paid versions that are that ensure that your data is not going to be used for further future training. Nothing wrong in contributing your work for future training of these chatbots. It's just that you don't want your secrets to be out there inadvertently, right? I mean, so please be mindful of that. Okay, user signup analysis. You're a marketing data analysis expert at analyzing user signups for SaaS platforms. So that's the persona. I'm going to give you data with user ID, signup date, country, and the subscription price. Like, people can sign up for $0, which is the free account, or $19.99 or $49.99. So you give you that. I want you to give me some insights, especially listing the top countries with most users, and give me the total numbers and so on. Write everything in Markdown to make it easy to follow, and finally give me 3 actions you think I should take to improve the revenue, and copy and paste your data. And let's see what type of result we get. And again, I did not use any tone because the tone doesn't make any sense in this case. Okay, so let me zoom in so you can see exactly what I provided. So you're a marketing data analyst, blah, 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 all of that. And I copied and pasted this data from Excel sheet. Usually, I don't think this will understand this data structure, because it may give you some wrong results, because it needs to understand that user ID is going from 1 through 10. Maybe if I provide additional context here by saying, hey, whenever you see a date, that's sign up date. Whenever you see a country name, it's a country there, and subscription price is this. Otherwise, it can mix up some numbers. Either way, I copied and pasted my entire 120 data points that I synthetically created, and it's giving me the answers right there. So total number of users, 120. Top countries by number of users, USA, these many. I think USA has 14 users. This is giving me wrong information. We'll confirm that in a minute by using actually coding. And subscription type preference, it says these many users and all that. That's why you need to be careful whenever you paste any data. You need to be mindful about what is the right format to paste this data. So let's jump back and look at the next way, my preferred way of doing this, which is Python code. Again, even if you know nothing about Python, as long as you have access to Python, go sign up for Google Colab or something where you can copy and paste code and then get things going. So here I'm asking very similar questions, except I'm saying you're a marketing data analysis expert at analyzing user signups for SaaS platforms using custom Python code. Now here is, I want you to pay some attention. You're working with .csv data with user ID, sign up date, country, and this is exactly how the headers are in my CSV file. Otherwise, it doesn't know how the files are, and you have to go edit in the code. I don't want you to be editing anything. Go ahead and look at what the top column titles are and go ahead and type them here exactly the way. And I also typed the subscription price, and I gave example $19.99. Why did I do this? Initially, I did not give this, and it gave me a response, and it wasn't able to plot it because it didn't know that my numbers had a dollar sign ahead of him. For those, because I included this, it added a line in the code to actually remove the dollar and look at the numbers. So details, give it as many details as possible. So I also gave that the file name is users.csv. I want you to give me Python code to read this file and generate plots and blah, blah, blah. What plots do we want to see? Number of users for each country, total revenue per country, subscription, or you can ask it a generic question. Hey, just give some plots that highlights the insights from this document and see what it actually does for you. But the more specific, the better it is. Please include comments in the code, because if you're a non-coder, you want to understand, even if you're a coder, you want to understand exactly what each line is doing. So, and also add a summary to the at the top of this file, so I can if I open this 6 months from now, I know exactly what the intention of this code is. Okay, so this is a fun exercise. Let's do this live. And I hope this works because we are doing this live. So let's actually create a new chat. One thing you can do is type here saying, hey, forget all the above, but I don't want to type anything on my keyboard right now. That slows us down. So let me click new chat, Control V, copy and paste, and let's hit enter. And let's see what it actually gives us. See, as I asked it, it's actually giving me the purpose of the code at the top of it, analyze user signups, and plot these things. And then it's actually doing, it gave us something. Okay, let's copy the code, and I have my Python thing open here, and let's actually create a new Python file and paste the code. And let us save this file in our directory where I have this other thing. Let's call this user analysis 2. The first one was the one that it gave me earlier. So let's call this user analysis 2 and save the file. I did nothing. I just copied the code here, and it should have all the stuff ready, users.csv, because that is, if I can find my folder again, users.csv is the file where I have all the data. And let's go ahead and run it and see if it throws any errors. Nothing. Voila. No errors, nothing. It gave me this. Let's zoom in so it makes sense. You see, I know I have 14 users in USA. I created the synthetic data set, 14 users in Australia, UK, and a different number of users from Canada. You can also ask it when you give the commands, say that, okay, when you plot it, do not forget to include the actual number on top of the bar plot or something, and then it'll add the code part that's useful, for that part. In fact, let's go down and see. I just wanted to check one other thing. You see how it says this line, convert a subscription price to numeric. You see how it's saying, hey, you have a dollar sign, so drop it. I didn't say anything about, the only thing I said about that is, hey, example $19.99. I didn't explicitly say, hey, drop the dollar sign and all that. It understands what the intention is most of the time. Okay, so this is number of users per country. This is total revenue per country. So Korea has the highest revenue. Why? Because the next plot will reveal why. Because Korea, if I can find it, has a lot of, where is the blue one? Blue are the free ones, the free users. Orange is the $19.99 users, and green is the ones paying $49.99. So Korea has the most number of users paying the highest amount. So obviously that is the one that's giving us the highest revenue total, which is whatever it is, $300 right here. So I hope your mind is blown just like mine, because here we said nothing. There are instructions. Let's go back to the presentation. So here, all we say is just give me Python code, and I just copied and pasted. That's it. It actually tells you what libraries to install if there are any specific libraries, but I just copied and pasted the code, and it worked like charm, right? So this is how you can actually have your own collection of Python code for various marketing tasks. And I would I think, I mean, I didn't know that I would be doing this live, so I included this slide to show the graphs, but we accomplished this. But one take home message for you for this, I don't know, probably it's 1 hour now since I started talking. I was hoping for a 20-minute video, but effective prompts are really the key for your marketing success. Otherwise, you would be frustrated typing all kinds of commands with ChatGPT, and you're like, oh, ChatGPT is crap or whatever it is. It's as good as it's think of it as a new employee you have. They know nothing. You explain everything to get them onboarded. So that's exactly how you treat ChatGPTs and other large language models, where you explain the context, where you give it a persona, because a new employee has a persona, right? Same thing here. So you also treat it with respect. Always use please, because if you get into a bad habit of abusing the AI, that probably reflects in your real life, and never do that. These things are, after all, helping us get more efficient. So there you go, guys. I really hope you liked the content. You learned something. If you want more such stuff that are not heavy on coding, but informative for various specific domains, then let me know as part of leave a comment down below. And again, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, and let's meet again in the next tutorial. And I'm recording this in December 2023, so happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate during this holiday season. Let's meet again in the next tutorial, guys. Thank you.